Hello and welcome back to Football Daily, where today we are profiling a list of players who are out of contract this summer and could therefore sign a pre-contract agreement this month. Goalkeeper Joe Hart. Joe Hart's standing couldn't be more different at the start of this decade to what it was in January 2010. Back then he was a regular in a Man City side on the cusp of 2 Premier League titles, who would go on to win 4 Premier League Golden Glove awards by 2015. Fast forward to January 2020, and the now 32-year-old has made just 2 appearances this season for Sean Dyche's Burnley, as he struggles to displace Nick Pope as the Clarets' #1. In fairness to the Shrewsbury-born shot-stopper, since being unceremoniously dumped by Pep Guardiola, he has travelled far and wide in an effort to return to the top. A year-long loan spell at Torino in 16-17, in which his side conceded 66 league goals, the 4th worst record in the division, was followed by another temporary move to West Ham where he interchanged with Adrian. After just 23 appearances across 18 months, Hart is struggling to justify his £45,000 per week wages, which is the 4th highest in the squad. With his contract expiring in June, it seems unlikely he'll be offered an extension, so where he ends up is anyone's guess. Right back, Thomas Meunier. Despite missing 25 games in 3.5 years through a succession of niggly injuries, when fit, 28-year-old right-back Thomas Meunier has been a regular for PSG, which makes it all the more surprising that the club have allowed his contract to run until its final 6 months. With 21-year-old Colin Dagba the only other out-and-out right-back in the squad, Thomas Tuchel would be wise to extend the Belgian's stay in Paris, especially with Meunier still performing well when available. Although his tackles and interceptions have dropped from 3.5 per 90 in 18-19 to 2.8 this term, the former Club Brugge man's key passes per 90 have risen from 1.1 to 1.7, a figure only topped by Neymar, Mbappe and Di Maria in the PSG squad. With his passes per game at its highest point since his arrival and his pass accuracy close to its peak of 86%, Meunier is clearly still playing an important role in the table toppers system. Even if the 8-time French champions do decide they can upgrade in that area in the summer, the Belgian right-back will surely land another job with a Champions League club for next season. Centre-back Eric Bailly. Now before we dive into the trials and tribulations of Eric Bailly, just a quick reminder to subscribe to Football Daily and hit that notification bell to never miss an upload. It seems like a distant memory now, but 25-year-old Ivory Coast international Eric Bailly's start to life at Old Trafford, following his £30 million move from Villarreal, was actually very promising. The first player signed by Jose Mourinho, Bailly was named man of the match on his first 2 appearances and won Manchester United's Player of the Month for August 2016. Unfortunately, come October, Bailly would pick up the first of 4 serious injuries which have so far blighted his Red Devils' career. His fitness struggles have forced United into signing Lindelof and Maguire for a combined £109.8 million. With the long-term futures of Jones, Rojo and Smalling uncertain as we enter 2020, it seems unlikely United will allow Bailly to leave on a free. But having not played a minute this season after sustaining a knee injury in pre-season, the Ivorian will need to get back in the starting 11 soon to earn himself that new deal. Centre-back Nacho. Jose Ignacio Fernandez Iglesias, otherwise known as Nacho, has been a loyal servant to Real Madrid ever since his debut for the club in April 2011. The 29-year-old academy graduate initially struggled to even get a game, with just 33 La Liga starts across his 5 seasons with the first team. And whilst he has subsequently played at least 1,700 La Liga minutes in each of the last 3 seasons, as well as starting 12 Champions League games during their famous 3 in a row, he has so far struggled to permanently displace Ramos and Varane at the centre of Real's defence. The arrival of Militao, 7 years his junior, in a £45 million move last summer, alongside a repeat of the knee injury that saw him miss 7 games in 18-19, has reduced him to just 349 minutes in the league and UCL. Having completed 3.1 tackles and interceptions per 90 and over 90% of his passes in 18-19, the 4-time Champions League winner clearly still has a use, so anyone looking for an experienced pickup in a free should get on it. Left back Layvin Kurzawa. Once commonly considered one of the brightest fullback talents in France, 27-year-old PSG left-back Layvin Kurzawa's career has drifted somewhat. Having come through the Monaco youth system, PSG snapped him up after 5 goals and 7 assists across 13-14 and 14-15 helped re-establish the Red and Whites at the top end of Ligue 1, following their promotion in May 2013. But unfortunately it hasn't been plain sailing for Kurzawa. Frequently injured and forced into competing for a spot with Gtze and more recently Bernat and Diallo, the 12-capped Frenchman is yet to start 20 league games in a single season. Very much second choice now behind Bernat, Kurzawa has played in just 1 Champions League game since the start of last season, dead rubber against Galatasaray in December 2019. Still able to produce 4.2 tackles and interceptions per 90, Gtze could be the ideal replacement for Leicester City if they were to lose Ben Chilwell this summer. Bring in £15 million and sign Gtze on a free, and that's great business. Centre mid, Everburn Egger. Unlike many players on this list, 31-year-old central midfielder Everburn Egger is still a regular at his club, with only 4 Seville players topping his 1,508 league minutes at the time of writing. The 65-capped Argentine has been an absolute revelation since swapping Valencia for southern Spain in August 2014, racking up 27 goals and 216 appearances either side of a one-year spell with Inter Milan. Despite contributing 12 league goals and 20 starts in Serie A, Egger never truly settled in Milan and returned after just 12 months, claiming it was a mistake to leave Seville. After solid 13 goal contributions across his first 2 campaigns back in Spain, this term he has taken his game to another level, with 8 goal involvements in 18 La Liga appearances to date. His 2.2 key passes per 90 is more than Hazard and Ousmane Dembele, and his 2.1 dribbles per 90 is topped by just 4 central midfielders in Spain. With Man United in desperate need of a creative midfielder this window, surely they could do a lot worse than signing Egger on a short-term deal. Centre mid, Blaise Matuidi. With Juventus having brought in Chan, Rabiot and Ramsey over the last 18 months, it seemed as if the old lady were preparing for life after Blaise Matuidi. But despite preparing for his 33rd birthday in April, the Frenchman has been almost ever present for Sarri's side this term, with only 4 players topping his 1,267 league minutes. This is perhaps no surprise given that only 2 of Sarri's 10 most used players are under the age of 28, but Matuidi's performances suggest it might be time to look towards the new generation. His tackles and interceptions per 90 have dropped from 3.2 to 2.7, his dribbles from 0.7 to 0.4 with a terrible 36% completion rate, and his key passes are at 0.9 per 90, which is fewer than Watford's Holebas in the Premier League. And it's not as if Matuidi is making up for this lack of output by being a metronome in midfield, the amount of passes he completes per game dropping 13% from last campaign to just 34. With his 3-year contract expiring in June, perhaps it's time for Sarri to cash in on the £16 million valued man, but somehow we don't see it happening. Centre mid, John Lundstrm. Sheffield United have been an absolute revelation since rejoining the Premier League for the first time since 2007. Just 3.5 seasons on from finishing 11th in League One, Wilder's men have taken points off Chelsea, Spurs, United, Arsenal and Everton, and are on course for their best league finish in 45 years. Whilst Lys Mousset and John Fleck have rightly been praised for playing a part in 58% of the Blades' league goals so far, we believe their key player has in fact been 25-year-old Everton Academy graduate John Lundstrm. A regular at England youth level, Lundstrm never made a Toffees appearance before going on 6 different loan spells at 5 different clubs in 3 years. But just 4 years on from playing in League 2 with Oxford United, Lundstrm is now excelling in the Premier League with 3 goals and 2 assists in his first 21 appearances. Out of contract in the summer, it seems highly likely that Chris Wilder will look to renew it prior to June. But if not, Lundstrm, who is currently operating at 0.34 expected goals and assists per 90, would be a solid pickup for a mid-table side. Forward, Willian. With 31-year-old Willian having already contributed 8 league goals before mid-January, just 1 shy of his total from 18-19, it seems highly likely that Chelsea will look to extend his current contract, which has just 5 months left to run. Having rejected 2 approaches from Barcelona, one of which was around £50 million, the Blues will no doubt be keen to keep hold of the 70-cap Brazilian rather than lose him for free. And at the moment it seems that Chelsea can't really afford to. With no player to have played at least 500 minutes creating more than his 2.5 chances per 90, and only Kovacic and Pulisic completing more than his 2.7 dribbles per 90, it seems no surprise he is operating at 0.51 expected goals and assists per 90, his second highest tally of the last 6 years. With Chelsea having fielded 2 of the youngest starting 11s in the Premier League this season, the Blues would be wise to keep hold of Willian for another year, especially with 32-year-old Pedro and 33-year-old Giroud expected to leave over the next 6 months. Forward, Mario Gtze. It seems strange that at 27 and just 5.5 years on from sealing his nation's 4th World Cup triumph, Mario Gtze could be on his way out of Dortmund. That is mainly due to the fact that since returning to northwest Germany after a 3-year stint at Bayern Munich, the 63-capped international has struggled to nail down a regular starting spot. Consistent injuries have meant he has played over 30 league games just once in the last 8 full seasons. and whilst his 1,680 Bundesliga minutes last season was the most he had managed since 14-15, the arrivals of Hazard and Brandt in the summer has seen him play just 32% of the available league minutes to date in 19-20. Whilst his productivity last season of 14 goal contributions was his best since his first campaign with Bayern Munich, it seems that BVB are now willing to jettison the 5-time German champion who won 5 titles in 6 years between 2011 and 2016. Still operating at 0.67 expected goals and assists per 90 in his limited time on the pitch this season, Gtze's future could be one of the talking points of the summer. Forward, Yoseop Ilitch. Anyone who has been following Ilitch's form over the last few weeks, in which he has contributed 4 goals and 1 assist in his last 3 games, including a hat-trick against Parma, will be surprised to learn that he has just 168 days remaining on his Atalanta contract. And it's not as if Ilitch has only recently hit top form. He's been magnificent all season with 9 goals and 3 assists to his name in 15 Serie A appearances. The 31-year-old, signed for just €5.5 million from Fiorentina in 2017, has to go down as one of the bargains of the previous decade, having contributed at least 19 league goals in each of his 2 full seasons at the club. Just 7 goals shy of that total halfway through the season, Ilitch will no doubt smash that tally if he continues to fire off 4.9 shots per 90, a figure only topped by 3 players, Ronaldo, Balotelli and Luis Muriel in Serie A. Factor in 2.8 key passes and 2.9 dribbles per 90 and you have close to the complete forward. Gasperini would be mad not to extend his contract. And that's 11 players who are out of contract this summer. Let us know in the comments who you think would be a good signing, and if you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more great content. Bye for now.